Welcome into today's video. Today, you guys, we're going to be testing and swatching the new Viseart palettes, the Petite that just launched. There were 3 quads, and I'm a huge Viseart fan, you guys, so I always pick up their new releases. I have a ton of their quads. Usually any color story that looks like it's going to work for me, I usually get it. These all retail for $25. We're going to swatch all 3 of them, but I'm going to do 2 looks, one on each eye, because one of them is kind of more neutral palette, and I would like to try the more punchy ones and like do looks for you with those 2. So let's hop right into it. You guys, I am pre-filming this video, so I'm not getting this up as soon as I'd like. So these have been up for a while. I'm sure by the time this video has launched, but if you are a Viseart fan and you were interested in seeing what these color stories look like on, the ones that I want to try are the 2 more vibrant shades. So let's start with the green one first. This one is called the Water Lotus. They all come in these little packaging. I always keep the boxes. They're just so very cute and easy to store. Here is the color story, just a super mint green palette. I'm not sure how much use I'll actually kind of get out of this color story on an everyday basis, but if you're somebody who likes mints, these look to die for. They have an even ratio between mattes and shimmers. These 2 here on the left side are the mattes, which is really nice because you have a light shimmer and a darker shimmer, and you can do kind of transition and outer corner. If you know anything about Viseart shadows, you know that their shimmers are kind of like on the lighter, more everyday side. I've been saying this in the last couple of videos, but they're like wedding appropriate, I would say. They're just beautifully elegant. That's kind of what I think of. So the shades here are Mizu. This one here is Dewdrop. This one here is Lily Pad, and this one over here is called Pagoda. So I always swatch left to right, top to bottom when I do these. So I'm gonna start with the like first kind of shimmery shade that they call Mizu. I don't know why, but my camera is literally not auto-focusing. So live swatching. They're not chunky, they're very thin shimmers. Here's the first matte, this very minty green. Their mattes are probably some of my favorite matte formulas, but also like the highlight of what I think Viseart offers. The blendability of the mattes and how well they play together is some of my favorite like qualities about Viseart shadows. Those all look super complementary and beautiful. So let's actually just do an eye look and then we'll swatch the next one. We'll just kind of stay consistent with the palette itself until we are done. So what I'm gonna do is, and I'll probably speed through this, is take this one kind of as an all over shade, this in the outer corner, and then I'll use both of the shimmers on the eyelid. So I will zoom you guys in and I will just create this look pretty quickly on the right hand side. Okay, easy, simple, really blendable, also buildable. I was getting like a little bit of over-blending with this deeper shade in Lily Pad. It's not quite as dark. This is the color that it looks like, but it's not as dark when once you get it to the eye, at least on my skin tone. It's still beautiful. I think though that, like, see how it kind of over-blends just slightly and then starts looking like kind of a lighter shade, but there's no fallout with these. They're just really well done. It's really pretty. It's very simple. It's like this elegant minty green eye look. As far as the qualities go, it's uncomplicated. It's an uncomplicated eyeshadow formula. I usually find that with Viseart. There's like maybe a couple of times with Viseart shadows that I just find they're not like perfectly tone matched to each other. but that's about it. I feel like I'm still struggling with a little bit of patchiness in that corner, but no skipping or anything like that. They're not dragging on my lid. I didn't actually even powder my lids. I forgot to. I put concealer on and then just left it. So that's how they laid on top of concealer, which is actually really, really good. I love that I wore this blue shirt with this mint green eye look. I should have done something neutral, just like black. So the next one that I wanted to go into is called the Sakura Lotus. Yeah, hard time focusing here. This one's just the more vibrant color story of the other two that are left. This one's a purple box. Again, these all have 2 mattes to 2 shimmers, which if you guys have ever seen me talk about eyeshadow palettes, you know that when they're small like this, that is my personal preference. So this one here is actually called Cherry Petals. It's not a very cherry shade, is it? This one over here is Whirling, this is Blooming, and this is Hanami is what I think it's called. So a lighter shimmer, a darker shimmer, a lighter matte, a darker matte. I don't know, that to me is just, it makes sense to be proportionate that way. It's gonna be the same eye look that I craft. This is kind of this typical eye style that I like, which is this in the crease, or all over, I should say. This one in the outer corner, and then I'll use both of the shimmers the same way I did on this eye. So let's swatch this really quickly, and then, ooh, that one's really powdery. And then we will throw on that eye look that I just mentioned. This one's super light on my skin tone. I still, wow, it's really powdery. Ooh, this one's really powdery. I still think that it will show up though. Wow, that's a really nice, super creamy matte. Here's the lighter shimmer. Ooh, this one's like shifty. Pink, white, pink, white. This one's my favorite color in the palette, I think. This darker shimmer in Hanami. It's really pretty. We'll see if these tones look good together, because this one and this one are so different, and they will end up touching. This one's such a light shade, but I still think it'll show up on the eye. So I'm just gonna speed through this portion again. Throw this on. Here we go. Guys, listen, you do not have to be good at eyeshadows to work with Viseart. And some people say that they're overpriced, but you know what? There's criticisms in probably every brand and every formulation. This one happened to be on the super powdery side, but I can tell you guys that it blends together like, you know, it did the work for me. I just kind of was like, bam, bam, done. Bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. So yes, they might be on the more powdery side, so is ABH, but they're still super pigmented. They're really easy to blend. I don't think this purple one was like super punchy. The only issue that I'm finding again with this one is that like this shade does a little bit of over blending the way that this one does, or did, and I'm just building because I like a little bit more pigment, and I would not say that Viseart shies away from pigmentation most of the time in their palettes. I am going to skip the lower lash line today. I would say that this particular, like this shade, this shimmer is so light. It's really on the lighter side. There's not a whole lot here, even when I was picking it up with my finger. It's not showing up a lot, but again, a lot of their shimmers are just on the lighter side. So if you're somebody who likes that for an everyday look, these are really good everyday shadows. They're not always everyday color stories, but for me, they're everyday shadows. This is one that I could wear on an everyday basis. I don't think the shade is overly vibrant. This one I wouldn't wear every day. Let's move on into this last palette. This one is called the Rosea Lotus, I think is how you pronounce it. Here's the color story on that one. This one for sure, much more neutral color story, much more everyday wear. Sometimes these super boring ones end up being my absolute favorite ones, especially for like everyday. And you know what? You can always like swap these out. All of these shades do come out. They're all magnetic. They're really, really easy to get out with your fingers without having to have a tool to pop them out. So the shades here are Pressed Rose, Spring Twilight, Rose Nectar, Blooming Lotus here. Wow, this is super pretty. I almost feel like mad that I didn't do this one, but it's just so neutral. All right, here is this. Oh my gosh, look at this pigment left over. Okay, now that I'm all cleaned up, here's that first shade. Super light, just like the other one, but I bet it'll still show up on my fair skin. You're not getting much fairer than me. If that's the worst case, I still think it'll show up. This one is so pretty. The shimmer is like, it has a, it's not a shift, but it has like a base to it. That one I like. Here is the other shimmer. Ooh, I like the shimmers in this palette probably the best. I know they're super boring. I'm super boring and basic. There's the color story there. Just very basic, very neutral. But I do like that they throw in basic neutral palettes because there is a need for that in my everyday life. I love these, you guys. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I am pre-filming this video because I am traveling to North Carolina with my family for a week. Next week, because it is Friday today and we're leaving tomorrow early in the morning, and I'm gonna take this one. I think this one, look how beautiful and pretty, and I love that these are so travel friendly, so I'm gonna keep this one out. That one is going with me. It looks beautiful. I'm actually gonna throw on some lashes, you guys, just so that you can see the final look with lashes, and we'll chat just a little bit more. Not that we need to, but we will do a little final wrap up. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. So I had a mishap with the eyeliner. This one was the first one that I did, and I went in right away, and all of a sudden all this product leaked out. So like it got everywhere. It got like into my waterline. It was like all the way up here. It was a nightmare. I had to do damage control. It was kind of annoying. So if you see the eyeliner thicker on this side, you guys, than this side, it's because I went in with a heavier layer to try and like just not take it off, and then really just kind of like fill it in. Anyway, let's talk about these palettes. I think that I created pretty simple eye looks, but they're all so beautiful. Like I told you guys, I'm definitely traveling with this one. I still think that if you like a little mint green, travel friendly, good quality, very easy to work with kind of eyeshadow, that you would really enjoy this palette. Yes, these are on the pricier side for $25 a piece, but I feel like I'm a collector at this point. I love them so much, and I get so much everyday enjoyment out of them that I never usually miss a launch that I like the color story in. So I don't think that you would dislike this formula. I think it's really good quality. They have exactly what I look for in these little quads, which is an even ratio between mattes and shimmers, because I craft the eye looks out of them that I care for, that I like. 2 shimmers, 2 mattes, like that's something I do almost every single day. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It's probably on the shorter side, but I am out of here. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves wherever you are. I hope I'm enjoying myself wherever I am when this video goes live. If you guys aren't currently subscribed, I would love to see you guys subscribe and come back again. I am out of here, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye.